Hi, this is Anne Marie, and wow, what a day for me. I am so glad my friend and wonderful psychic reader Joseph Grych is on today because I tell you what, I could use a reading. And today is a day of contradictions for me. I got the word that I'm going to be in a book of top 50 psychics of America. I
Wow.
had yes, and I was submitting my bio and everything, and I was feeling that feeling that you have when you have to believe your own stuff.
Uh-huh.
When someone says, um, say some really great things about yourself, and I love the fact that you and another Karen Hagar always call it selfless self promotion or selfish self promotion. When I
Mm-hmm.
get into that niche of selfish self promotion, I instantly start to doubt myself.
Oh, well, the way I see it is, I know it's kind of initially it's an icky feeling, sort of like, but then I
Ugh.
realize, if you don't toot your own horn, no one's going to know that you're there.
I'm
So
sure that's true.
you have to do that, and so of course you're gonna give out your best. It's like, well, this is what I did. Look, see, remember, because there's so many distractions, and the attention spans are so short nowadays, because everything's so immediate. um, I say use those immediate tools like the internet and toot your own horn and really feel good about it because you're careful about what you put out there, because of course you want it to be your best, your best, you know, side, and consider that whatever you put out there, imagine it being 30 feet high on a billboard.
Yeah.
Because but you have to do that, and it's so easy to do that now. I mean, it doesn't cost anything, except for having internet, and programs and the tools. But I
Well,
say use it and feel good about it, because you
well,
can't just wait for somebody else to do it for
here's
you.
what started. Here's what started happening. Um, I immediately after I sent the promo or sent my bio and sent my picture, then immediately the capital key stopped working, so I couldn't log into my past. Well, then I went to go dash in and put makeup, and as I was putting my lipstick on, just like some crazy I Love Lucy show, the lipstick broke and it went right up my face. And I'm thinking, yeah, you're really cool. You're really cool, Anne. And it was like instantly the dog started looking at me like, yeah, and you forgot to take me for a walk today. So it was just so bizarre that here was this really great thing that was happening, followed by all of these human idiotic blocks, like not even being able to get into your own computer or
Oh,
not being able to. I made it on time. Okay, I
but
got everything on
well,
time.
you
But
have to
and
consider there's always a kick in the butt.
I know,
And
I'm thinking,
luckily, these are little minor irritating kicks in the butt, but you have to pay for everything that you get.
I do, and I feel like it was my angel saying, okay, now let's just take things down to where the
Yeah.
human level. We're going to show you everything human here.
We're going to
Smeared
remind you
lipstick.
that you are human, and yes,
Yeah.
your toothbrush can fall into the toilet like anybody else's.
Oh,
So,
yeah, that's what it was. Toilet all over me. So, how have you and what have you been doing, Joseph?
well, I'm just so happy that we have some spring days. And yet, 2 weeks ago, we were in sub-zero weather with a bunch of snow, and now it's gorgeous stuff is starting to come up. The snow's gone, and we had this full moon, which started. a whole. It was a super moon, and those are rare. And we've had like maybe 4 of them this year. Like since last year at this time, and it's
Are we on one
unusual.
now or not? We're not on one
No,
now.
no, we're not. No, that was no. The full moon's over, but now we're going to be entering the new moon, which will be on the March 20th, which would be the first day of spring. I think that is the
Okay.
first day of spring, isn't it? Yes. And that
Mhm.
is also going to be, we're going to have a solar eclipse that day as
Oh,
well.
wow.
So
Yeah.
people are saying, oh, be prepared for, like tragic weather, and catastrophes. It's like, well, we get those any other time of the year. It doesn't have to be, what I'm saying. It's like it doesn't. This is not a signal for that. I would say more or less it's a signal for change, and a lot of people. That would mean, like things that you're working on and things that it seems like you're pushing up against a wall for the past few years. This is when you're going to have you're going to be moving forward, and also getting rid of some old stuff. And it could be as mundane as deciding to do your spring cleaning, but that's the same kind of spring cleaning is going to take place on different levels for most people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's almost kind of reminds me of when 2012 came and everybody was predicting some
Oh, they
kind
were
of
freaking out.
major,
Yeah. Yes.
huh? That's
They were
exactly
freaking
the
out.
kind of energy I'm feeling from everybody
Hmm.
that's astrologically saying, "Oh, these huge anything in March can happen or April. It's all that." And
Yes.
it's if
Well, of
this is
course it's
like,
huge, but not huge like in the cinematic, movie where everything, it's 2012. It came and went, and yes, some things did happen, and maybe the world ended in a parallel time, in a different timeline, but not in this one. Sometimes whenever something disastrous happens in a parallel world, which is, like a reflection of this one, pretty much.
I
But
I agree.
sometimes you do feel the like what the after blast of whatever happened there,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean,
Hmm.
maybe all the tough things did happen in
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
parallel dimension, or maybe
Hmm.
we were blessed enough to be able to get through something, or I don't know what it is. But I do want to say hi to Sunny from New York and Marjorie from Maine,
Oh,
and
hi.
we have Linda from Oklahoma, and we have Jan from LA, and we have Susan from Massachusetts.
Oh, great. Well, who's first?
Yes. And so we
Who's
want to remind
next?
everybody that we love, love, love to be able to have you call in to the show. And I think my lipstick's on straight now for those that want to see us on the webcam. There's Joseph, and he's so good looking. And
Oh,
then
thank
there's
you.
me. And, the number to call in is 602-666-6027. That's 602-666-6027. And look at how good looking Joseph is, and
Hello.
see what setting he has, and most of all, get a reading from Joseph, because he's got a very, very, you just are getting better all the time, I think, on that.
Practice, I guess. It helps to do it often because the more you look at the cards, the more aware you are of the symbols, and like there's so many meanings to these
Well, and
things,
doesn't it get to be also
depending on the question, and actually, as we say, we don't choose the cards. We shuffle, and I lay them out, and that part I don't control.
Yeah, and I do enjoy your Facebook
Yeah.
page. Could you tell them what your new Facebook page is, where you have some very interesting
Oh,
perspectives? And
yeah.
I'm sure that if
I
anybody wanted to
just really,
go
really
to,
quick. I created a public Facebook page, which is called Tarot and Paranormal Insights. Um, by Joseph Lantern Bearer. And if you type in the search bar Lantern Bearer, you might see a couple with that name, but they're not all me. Mine is the one that will show up as Tarot and Paranormal Insights by Joseph Lantern Bearer, and there's a picture of a hermit carrying the hermit card, because that's, in this respect, that when I read cards, I see myself as the hermit. I'm the guy with the lantern trying to shed light on your issue. So.
I automatically.
What I do there is I try to post the card of the day, and actually
yes.
today's card is the Two of Cups inverted, which means that, being in a nutshell, being the bigger person by forgiving and apologizing will get you through this day, because it's more likely that you can have a split with a friend or a partner due to misunderstandings and due to the fact that neither one wants to forgive nor apologize. So you can prevent this by being more understanding today and by realizing that this is really temporary. Like if you're having a lousy day at work, you realize you're not so enamored with your job. Listen, it's just a rough day. It will pass. Tomorrow is another day. Just, be cool and don't escalate what need not be escalated. So that's
Good.
something to think about. That's the single card reading of the day that could apply to just about anybody who sees it.
And could people submit questions to you on your page? Would you answer them?
They can. I encourage people to maybe post something interesting, because really I would rather they call me at Keen for reading. And that's posted there, too. There's a link for that if you click on that. So I make sure that these things are there, because it's not for free. But the page is for free. The card of the day is for free.
It's not.
But if you want a reading, you have to call Keen, because that's how I get. I get a few bucks that way.
Yeah. And also, sometimes I think that if they have a question about a card that you have pulled, something
certainly.
like that, maybe they're reading. Maybe they're reading cards and they want us to know, Joseph, the great hermit, we would like you to hold your lantern up and tell us what this means on our life today.
Well, that's why it's out there. I want to get a response. I want to have a discussion. That's fine. I like that. We can talk about the cards or anything weird that's happening.
Right.
Because I also posted stuff about hauntings, and stuff, just odd little things that happen in our life. Like sometimes we have these syncs happening all day where it seems like a certain number keeps popping up or a certain name keeps popping up. Or you're just talking about some actor and you turn on the TV and there they are. It's just sort of like, kind of weird. And then within that movie that you see them in, something is happening that had just applied to you earlier that day. It's just weird how things happen or the change you get back in your hand happens to be the date of your birthday or something strange like that,
I have a question for you about, when you watch those shows about the people that are going into the most haunted places in Ireland or the most haunted castles where the most horrible things have happened and dead nuns and things like that. Sometimes don't you feel like some of these people, for the sake of, like the last one I saw showed somebody going into a famous cave of devil worshippers, and they were going in there and they were going into this room that was supposed to be absolutely a no-no and saying, Satan, are you there? And I'm thinking, you dummy. I mean, really, I can honor the fact that these people are experienced at what they do, but then one felt like the devil had grabbed his ear with 3 claws and pulled him out of the cave, or tried to pull him back in the cave when he tried to leave, and then he was afraid that he was forever damaged goods because the devil had touched him, and they're on their way out of the forest, and all of a sudden he's going, life will never be the same, and then all of a sudden this woman's voice cries, no, through the forest, and they're claiming that this is 100% real, and they do all of the stuff, and I'm thinking, why would you want to wade in cesspools of energy?
Sort of like, let's go down to the ghetto and hang out and
Yeah.
where all the gunfire is.
Let's go in a drug den.
I like to avoid trouble, really. But I would say for one thing, the devil, angel. Well, actually, depending on angels, pretty much have their own mind, and they all do what they do. And the thing is, when they do things a certain way, then a lot of times we can take that as something evil. But I don't really think that. I think if you're going to address anybody of that nature, you better be respectful. And I just, and if you're expecting something nasty, well, you're going to get something nasty. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I think that's true. Janice is in the room and she says, "I am forever seeing 333, and it drives me crazy. What does it mean to anyone?"
What, like it's coming up in change? It's coming up on your clock. You're waking up at 3:33,
Evidently, Janice is having a lot of 333 series of 333s. What do you get on that?
Oh, gee. I remember it being talked about in dramas as being the devil's way of mocking, the Holy Trinity. But that's if for Catholics. I mean, you have to, you know what I'm saying?
The Trinity.
It's entertainment. Trinity. It's not. I don't really believe that that's true. Threes actually. Usually things happen in threes, both good and bad, and even. But as for the threes popping up all the time, apparently somebody wants her attention, and they're using this sync, to make her stop and think. Like, okay, somebody's trying to point something out to me. We could do a reading on it. We could flip some cards and see what it is.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm going to have you do that while I describe what 3 means, okay?
Okay.
The number 3 is a masculine number, and it means the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. 3s are active, harmonious, pleasure-loving, and they bring joy to others as indicated by their numerology, meaning many politicians are 3s with excellent conversational skills, but they can often be superficial. They give hope to others who see the dark side of things. These shining lights work hard to stop negativity from entering into their lives. The good in something usurps the bad every time. They are born mediators between 1 and 2 to draw them together. Extreme versatility and highly sociable attitudes make them well liked. In partnerships, they are sexually interested and interesting both. 3s meet and live life head on. So what do you have with 3 3s in a row for her?
Well, I see at present what we have is the Page of Wands for the present time. And the Page of Wands is reversed in this respect. And what I'm seeing is that there's a level of confusion and indecision, perhaps, in her life. And I see that she is being called upon to help somebody decide something important or to be a part of some decision. Okay. Now, in general, it's unwelcome news. That it's an indication of unwelcome news that might be coming soon. It's not usually anything like, horribly horrendous, but it could be something that you just rather not deal with. But it does require a need to focus on the problem. And I do see that in the future, what we got here, the near future, would be the 8 of Pentacles, which is right side up. And usually the 8 of Pentacles is, it indicates a period of hard work ahead. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing, but it means be ready to be really busy and be prepared that you may be asked to do something. It could be personal or professional, but be prepared that somebody might ask you to do something. And you'll have to make a necessary effort. Because you have a lot to accomplish coming ahead, and but really have a balance. You can't work all the time, You got to take care of
Right.
yourself so you can do this, But at work, it could mean that she might get hired into a new position that really tests, her skills. It might be demanding, but have faith in yourself.
I
And
would I would
yeah,
say that um, I think I'm in sync with you on that one. But the first thing that comes up on this, Janice, and this is, um, I don't know if you can see this, but it's the card of intuition. And this card says is that your intuitive guides are leading you to people, places, and new jobs that you might enjoy better. Now, how much can that be in sync with what you just said? The other thing that comes through is that it's asking you to choose to do something, to change something in your life that will make you debt free and live a more financial balance and a healthier lifestyle. And that's the card of affluence. And the next card that came up to me was trust, that it's just time to start learning to trust in your own abilities, that you can improve your circumstances, Janice, and that the main thing that's getting in the way is that lately you've been pretty chicken. That there's a sense that, and I get an upside down courage card. This is a different kind of deck. This is I forget what it's called, but I love it. And it's just saying that this is the card of courage. And it's saying that you have these abilities to be more financially balanced and more intuitive and more trusting, but for whatever reason, you may be analyzing and sabotaging your own developments. So I would go along with what Joseph says and pay attention to all those things.
yeah, you have the tools needed, even though what's coming might seem daunting. It's like, you got to take the bull by the horns and you'll be fine. You have these abilities, and I'm seeing that, the cards are saying this. They're saying, trust in yourself that you can do it.